light shifted sometime after noon. It flattened against the diner windows, dulling the chrome along the counter. Margaret noticed first. She paused with the coffee pot in her hand and looked toward the glass. The air inside felt heavier than it had that morning. Not hotter, just pressed down. The front door tapped once in its frame. Jack paused when it rattled again. Oscar looked up from the sugar packets he was stacking in careful rows. Outside, the sky had gone a dull gray. Margaret set the coffee pot down. "Let's bring the sign in." Jack moved for the door. Noah was already heading toward the windows. By late afternoon, the wind arrived. It pushed against the boards as Noah and Jack secured them in place. Margaret moved tables back from the glass. Oscar held nails in both hands, passing them one at a time. "That'll hold," Noah said. The lights flickered, then steadied, then flickered again. Margaret switched off the exterior lights before the power could fail. Customers left in pairs. Rain came sideways. It struck the roof in sharp bursts before settling into a steady drumming. The power went out. The diner fell into dimness. Margaret lit the lantern. Its glow spread across tile and steel. The building shuddered once. Oscar startled. Jack straightened. Noah checked the cellar door. Margaret checked the back entrance. There was nothing left to secure. So they waited. The wind rose higher. Boards strained. Rain drove hard against the roof. Something metal scraped down the street and was gone. They sat low behind the counter, where the walls felt thickest. Oscar climbed into Margaret's lap. She wrapped her arms around him. Jack sat beside Noah, shoulders squared. The building groaned, a long sound as weight shifted overhead. Margaret looked at Noah. Not fear, assessment. She reached across the space between them and placed her hand in his. Deliberate. He closed his fingers around hers. Jack noticed. He said nothing. They sat that way while the storm pressed and passed and pressed again. 4 bodies low to the ground. Lantern light against boarded windows. Wind outside. Inside breath. The worst of it came in a single burst. A crack like something splitting. A shudder through the roofline. Then the rain steadied. Then the wind dropped almost as suddenly as it had risen. Water dripped from the eaves. Silence followed in pieces. When they stepped outside later, the street looked changed, but not ruined. A tree 2 buildings down had split clean through its center. One storefront had lost a section of awning. Across the street, shingles lay scattered like broken cards. The diner boards had held. The windows remained intact. It hadn't flattened the town. It had struck and moved on. They walked back toward the house. Mud pulled at their boots. The air smelled of split wood. The roofline sagged on one side. Shingles scattered across the yard. The front window was gone. The porch leaned slightly left. No one spoke. Noah studied it once. "Stay here. Let me make sure it's safe." He stepped onto the porch. The boards creaked. The door hung crooked. He disappeared inside. Margaret waited only a moment. Then she moved to the doorway. She stopped at the threshold. Water dripped from the ceiling. Plaster split along the walls. A main support beam cracked and bowed. The floor dipped under strain. The house sounded wrong, unsteady. From inside, Noah's voice. "Stay out." She didn't argue. She moved slightly in front of the boys. A board shifted deeper inside. Dust fell. Noah emerged with blankets and clothing, set them down, went back in, again and again. The boys' satchels, a tin from the kitchen, a small wooden box. Then, the framed photograph. Her father beside her as a child. The diner behind them in sunlight. Moisture darkened the backing. Condensation inside the glass. He held it out. She took it. Her fingers felt the damp edge. For a moment, she pressed it to her chest, then lowered it. "Enough," Noah said. "It's shifting." He went back once more, came out empty-handed. They did not re-enter. Back at the diner, lantern light met them. Margaret settled the boys into a booth. Up, she spread the quilts, smoothed Jack's shoulder. Oscar faced her. "Mama." "Yes." "Sing." She began. Low, even, the same song from Smaller Storms. Jack turned toward the sound. Oscar's fingers loosened. By the second verse, they slept. She stayed a moment, then stood. Noah watched. Their eyes met. Recognition. He looked away first. When she was certain they were asleep, she lifted the photograph. The backing resisted slightly. She worked it free. The paper curled when it separated from the glass. She laid it flat, smoothed it once. Her breathing shifted, then steadied. Noah stood a few feet away. Silent, she placed a towel beneath it. It would dry. The lantern burned low. The boys slept. They had not meant to stay awake all night. A faint hum moved through the walls. The refrigerator clicked. Noah listened. Power's back. He didn't touch the switch. "Coffee." "Yes, please." Water moved through pipes again. He filled the percolator without turning on the lights. Dawn thinned the dark at the windows. Pale light reached across the counter. It touched the rim of her cup first, then their hands. Steam rose. They wrapped their fingers around the warmth. Just morning,